The circulatory system is the most vital system to keeping us alive, and that's because it performs two very key functions, which are to deliver nutrients throughout the body and to remove wastes from the body. Now, blood is the fluid that the circulatory system transports throughout the body, and it carries, amongst other things, glucose and oxygen. So if you remember correctly, glucose and oxygen are the ingredients or reactants that you need for cellular respiration. So without these two molecules that are being transported throughout the circulatory system, there's going to be no cellular respiration and you're not going to be producing any ATP, which is vital as an energy source for all of the metabolic processes that occur in cells. Now, a waste product that's produced from cellular respiration is carbon dioxide. And it's also the circulatory system's job to transport and remove that waste from the body. So blood also carries off CO2 as a waste product. The circulatory system can be broken down into three main components. Blood, which I've just discussed a little bit about, the vessels that actually transport that blood throughout the system, so things like veins, arteries, capillaries, etc. And in order to move that blood through those vessels, you need a pump. In our case, it's a heart, and its job is to simply move the blood throughout the vessels. The circulatory system has extensive connections with other organ systems that exchange materials with the environment. So, for example, blood vessels acquire oxygen and unload carbon dioxide through the respiratory system. Now, in our case, that is through the lungs. In other organisms, these organs differ. So, for example, in fish, this exchange occurs through the gills. In the case of the digestive system, nutrients enter the circulatory system at blood vessels located near the intestines. Blood also circulates through the kidneys, which eliminates many water-soluble waste products. The circulatory system of vertebrate animals is a closed circulatory system. And this means that the blood remains within the vessels of the circulatory system and exchanges materials with the fluids surrounding the body tissues. So, for example, the blood actually never leaves the veins, arteries, and capillaries of the circulatory system. Now, the circulatory system of vertebrates is divided into two interrelated circuits, and these are the pulmonary circuit and the systematic circuit. Whenever you hear the word pulmonary, it means related to the lungs. And that's because the pulmonary circuit takes oxygen poor blood from the heart to the lungs, where it gets enriched with oxygen and then returns back to the heart again. The systematic circuit then pumps that oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the various systems throughout the body, and then the oxygen poor blood returns to the heart again. Birds and mammals both have four chambered hearts, and those chambers are made of two atria and two ventricles, which are split into the right atrium and right ventricle and the left atrium and the left ventricle. Now I'll get into the detail of how these atrium and ventricles work in a lot more detail further on, but effectively what they're doing is separating oxygen-rich blood and oxygen-poor blood as it goes through the pulmonary circuit and the systematic circuit. So in summary, the circulatory system delivers nutrients and removes wastes from the body. The components of the circulatory system include blood, vessels that contain that blood, and a pump that moves the blood through the vessels. The circulatory system has extensive connections with other organ systems that exchange materials with the environment, and the vertebrate circulatory system is a closed system that is divided into the pulmonary circuit and the systematic circuit.